Hi, my name's Nick, and welcome back to the Painter's Mess. Today's video, we're going to continue on our thematic list building in the Horus Hersey, and we're going to go with the 7th Legion, the Imperial Fists. Now, I do want to start with this current image that we have on the screen. So this is from Horus Hersey Legions. It's a card game on your phone. It's a phone card game. Anyway. And it's like Magic the Gathering, similar. It's a fantastic game, and as of the 29th of May, which was yesterday, from the time of this recording, they announced that they are shutting down the servers for this game. Now, this is actually very sad. I have invested a little bit of money into the game, which is fine. I had my fun with it. But for those who have invested a lot of money into this game and the cards, that sucks. I'm sorry. That's really shitty of them to at least not even make it an offline game again as of the 29th. I don't know if it's offline or not. But they are, from what I was told or what I saw, they're shutting down the servers. So the one really cool thing about this game was, besides the fact that it was actually a really fun game, it had amazing artwork. So my recommendation for you is to go forward, log into your game, open up your Legion cards, your characters and all that. Open up your cards, your characters, screenshot the artwork so that you can have that artwork in the future, because there's a chance it's going to be gone, and the artwork is actually phenomenal. So I highly recommend you do that. And because I definitely will be. I love the artwork, and it's such a fun game, and such a shame that they're shutting it down. So with that, let's get on to the list building. So again, disclaimer notes: it's a historical war game. Horus Hersey is, and these aren't meta lists, but they're fun, and that's what's important. They're fun. You might win, you might not win. I do incorporate, if you've looked at any of the other videos, I do incorporate a way to win for you to win, usually with some line or some Vanguard, and I mention those things as I kind of go through the list. But they're for fun. And with that, I've even been building another list that I will put out very soon, that can be applied to any Legion. It's just funny, and I think it still has some merit. So I'll put that out in another video for funny narrative lists that can go for any Legion or similar to that. So these are fun. I hope you like them. So we got some housekeeping as always. It's all the same except the thematic list examples. So I have graciously named these lists for you. The Phalanx Bastion, very fortress themed. The Headsman Gauntlet. This one was a little harder to name, but it is what it is. And then the Black Templars, because they're in 40k. And they're a subset from the Imperial Fist. They're the Templar Brethren in this edition, or this time frame. But they're all the same. They just go around and murder people, and they're a little dark. Yeah. All right. So the Imperial Fist Legion features. So their Legion trait is Fire Discipline. When making a shooting attack for a unit, that only includes models with this special rule, +1 to hit for anything with Bolt or Auto. And any fire groups that include more than 5 dice or attacks that have the Bolt or Auto trait. Now, that last little tidbit, that little clause, is actually really important. So if you have 2 tactical Marines left, and they shoot their bolters, that's 4 shots, not 5. So they actually don't get the +1 to hit. So they actually need at least 3 guys to be doing the +1 to hit, to be hitting on 2s. But the bolt guns and the auto guns, hitting on 2s is ridiculously nice. Definitely lean into the more defensive playstyle, where you are just unloading bolter fire. Tactical squads are your favorite. Autocannon squads are your favorite. Anything that has autocannons or bolt guns are your go-to as a Imperial Fist player. Advanced reaction, Bastion of Fire. Too long didn't read. Enemy moves within 10 inches of you in your line of sight, so you can't be behind a wall. And then you get to make a shooting attack. It doesn't apply to vehicles, but you get to make a full ballistics shooting attack. That's amazing. It's the old Zone Mortalis movement reaction, where you just get to unload on somebody if they move within 10 inches. Zone Mortalis last edition was 12 inches, but within 10 inches. That's awesome. I think it was Zone Mortalis. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was, because you could also move away or something. Something like that. Anyway, it's full ballistic, full BS attack, which means you're hitting on 2s with extra bolt guns and auto guns. It's crazy. Okay, Imperial Fist features. Yeah. Prime advantage is your Castellan. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. You make a Centurion, and you just make a Centurion a Castellan, and it gives him an augury scanner and either a heavy bolter autocannon or a Elastius assault cannon. Basically, he becomes an Armistos with specific weapons. I don't see the huge deal here, other than he would have Officer of the Line 2 compared to an Armistos. But it's solid. I mean, oh, and he gets augury scanner, so you don't have to put an augury scanner on your unit. So in that case, make a Castellan, and I think I have it in one of these lists where you make a Castellan and you add it to an autocannon squad. So your character gives them the augury scanner for free, and then you get an extra autocannon shot off. And it's already BS2 or BS5 hitting on 2s because of being a Centurion, but you also get the same set with the Legion trait. So Gambit is a wall unyielding. Basically, you negate your combat initiative to gain Eternal Warrior 1. It'll keep you alive. It's pretty solid. It's not bad, and I don't remember if there was any... I have the book in front of me this time. I don't think there was anything special about it other than that. For the duration of the strike step. That's it. So you can use it over and over and over. You just become harder to kill. So, I mean, if you're swinging with the Power Fist, there's a solid chance that you might survive. Speaking of Power Fists, let's move on to the weapons. You have the Solarite Power Gauntlet, which is basically just a Power Fist with critical hit 6. That's pretty sweet because that critical hit's really nice. You have an Elastius Assault Cannon, which Blood Angels also have. Basically, it's just an Assault Cannon with a little bit extra. You have your Vigil Pattern Storm Shield. Now, there's a lot to read with this one. You can give it to Command Squads, Cataphractii Squads, Boarding Shield may be swapped out for 5 points. It gives a 4-up invul, and you gain the shield trait and the heavy subtype. So it's a big shield. It's just a big boarding shield. Just pretty solid. And you get a 4-up invul instead of 5. Yeah, there you go. And then, you know, as I was going through the pages, this is actually a couple pages in. The Decurion Sagitar. And I didn't know this was an option, so I actually didn't put it in any of the lists, but this is actually pretty solid because it's 30 points. You can add it to a Predator, a Sakaran, or a Kratos, which I think I mentioned at least a Predator and a Sakaran in all of those. And it has to have the Sakaran has to have the autocannon or the Punisher rotary cannon. But you get a Pinto-mounted Elastius Assault Cannon and an Augury Scanner. Additionally, the Pinto-mounted Assault Cannon gains Skyfire and Precision 6 special rules. Super nice. Super sweet with the Skyfire rule in regards to flyers, and Precision 6 is also pretty sweet. So this is important because if you are a Blood Angels player and you just want an Elastius Assault Cannon as a Pintle, I think it's 15 to 30 points anyway, and you don't get an Augury Scanner. So not only do you not have to do and you don't get the Skyfire and Precision 6 rules either. So not only do you have to, you don't have to take Surge Lights because you have the Augury Scanner. So you're saving 5 points there. You also get the shot and then the extra 2 rules with Skyfire and Precision for the same amount of points. I'm pretty sure it's 30 points. So that's pretty solid. And I didn't know that was an option. I will definitely put that in my lists as I was building them. If I was playing Imperial Fist. So special units and characters. They have a lot of named characters because they were the poster boys for 2nd edition. So we have just a bunch of characters. Rogel Dorn is Primarch, Sons of Dorn. Sigismund, the first Templar Brethren guy, holds a sword. Fafnir Rain is the dual-axed dude with a breaching shield, which is pretty sweet. Gamba Diaz, I don't think has a mini. Alexis Pollux is the dude with the big shield and a power fist. Evander Garius, hopefully I get all these names right. I don't play Imperial Fist. Is a dude, he's pointing with his power fist, and then he has this underslung Volkite model, and he's actually pretty sweet. He's really cool to convert. I don't think, I do have it. I actually bought one of these models so that I can convert him because he's actually pretty solid, and I'm going to make him Death Guardy because everybody loves Cataphractii, and underslung Volkites are pretty sweet. So we're gonna show this dude off. It's pretty solid. I know it's tiny, but I cleared off the Imperial Fist stuff, put on some Death Guard stuff. Pretty cool. I like this model. I do need to put something on his chest to cover up the scratch off stuff that I did, but very Death Guardy. Can be a very Death Guard or other Cataphractii dude, and I just gave him some cool Death Guard looking shoulder pads. Yeah. I have a whole plan for army stuff that I'm gonna start painting again and recording it. So that's a whole nother conversation that I will be mentioning in another video. But yeah, on to the next one. The Phalanx Warders. These dudes are pretty sweet. Your Templar Brethren. Oh, those are heavy assault. Your Templar Brethren are your elites, and then you have House Carl Terminators are your retinue, and hopefully I say this right. Atos Dios is a Thunderhawk, so you have a named Thunderhawk for Dorn. If you don't have a Thunderhawk, there are so many ways you can get one. One, you can pay full price, which is to each their own. There are files out there to 3D print them, or if you have or want one 3D printed, reach out, let me know. I do have a whole video that I will maybe link up in the top hand corner on a 3D printed Thunderhawk. That same Thunderhawk, I've printed multiple times in filament at this point, and just let me know. I have a bunch of printers back behind me, and I kind of run a little bit of a printing service, so let me know. Either way, Thunderhawks are great. Highly recommend getting one. They're fun, and they're just stupid big. So yeah. So, Legion Notes, Poster Child for Horus Hersey 2nd Edition. So there's a lot of minis that you could snag from eBay, painted yellow, most likely. I'm sure there's a lot. And then for speaking of which, for painting yellow, start with a red base. It makes your yellow a lot brighter and a lot easier to manage. The whole Imperial Fist ideal is like defensive fortifications and stuff like that, although Black Templars are super beat sticky in 40k lore, and they're quite dark. As far as like, I'm gonna go murder things, they're a little dark. So you do have your fighting, but you also have all of your defensive stuff. If I was an Imperial Fist player, lean into the fortification theme because it's fun and cool, and nobody else does fortifications. I don't think I've ever seen a fortification on a list. So speaking of which, I've made that exact thing with the Phalanx Bastion. So, you're going to start with your Crusade detachment, and Evander Garius is going to be your high command. Your command is going to be Alexis Pollux, and I actually have two lists here. One is a Herald and a Master of Signals, and then I'm going to go to the next page. The other one is a Centurion with your Castellan upgrade and a Master of Signals. There are only some small changes between the two lists, but they are both supported here. The reason why I picked a Herald is because having a Herald on top of a fortification is probably like the most iconic thing you could do, as like, I'm going to be defensive. Like, this is my place. I'm going to put the banner down. So it's like super thematic. And then to include the Castellan, I've added this second list where you have him as your support for your autocannon heavy support squad. So just keep those in mind as we go through the rest of these lists. So 2 tactical troops and 2 rhinos to put them in. 2 whirlwind tanks because they're new, and shooting some missiles while you're like defensive is pretty cool. Same for Vindicator Demolisher cannons, which could be swapped out for Legion Medusas, and just like orbital bombarding, not orbital, but like bombarding, whoever's coming in, just like siege warfare, like sitting there just being defensive, I think is pretty sweet. Your Armored Fist is a Land Raider carrier. As always, it's going to hold some kind of retinue or some fighty dudes, probably Terminators in my case, for everything that I ever make. And then you're going to do a tactical support detachment with an Arachnid quad platform. And this is just, again, part of the Bastion defense line that you're holding. Put it on somewhere, put your autocannon squad with it, and then they have the 5-up pinball. I'm going to do a Breacher squad with your Siege Gauntlet, and then with that, you'll do a logistical benefit to do your House Carl Terminators, which is your which is going to go into the Land Raider carrier with your high command. Then again, like I mentioned, the autocannon heavy support squad, and then some Phalanx Warders. Again, you want to be defensive. You want to just play that defensive out because it's fun and thematic. Fortification detachment. This is where you get to have some fun with the fortifications. Buy an Aegis defense line. I think it's like $80, or you can 3D print something very similar to it, and then just do another fortification because you can have 2 in your detachment. Aegis defense line, just you put it across your location. You put people behind it, your tactical squad or whatever. They get a 6-up cover save. And then you have the Aquila Strongpoint, or like Hammerfell Bunker. Hammerfell Bunker is actually, I think, pretty solid in relation to like what it can do. You just place it, it like infiltrates basically. You place it somewhere and then it just gets to shoot. And I think that's hilarious. So if I was an Imperial Fist player, I still might just buy a Hammerfell Bunker because it's funny and like nobody wants them. So you could probably get one on cheap on eBay. But yeah, do the fortifications. They're fun. It's thematic. The only thing that's changed here is let's see, since I got rid of the Herald and I put a Centurion, the upgrade to the Castellan is free, so it's only 80 points to get all of his extra stuff. So you had extra points, and I added an Apothecary in the Tactical Support Squad just for some extra saves and recovery test saves. So, yeah, your Herald, here we go. And there is Evander Garius. That's the model painted. But yeah, that's a cool little, and the Housecarls. Look at that. This is like perfect. They go in the Land Raider and go slay the Warlord hunting. Pollux and the Warders hold down to whatever objective is important in a Rhino. Tacticals hold other objectives or home deployment on the Aegis defense line or any other fortification with an autocannon squad. And this is with the Herald. Master of Signals give line or vanguard as necessary. Same for your Breachers. Move forward in a Rhino. Herald goes with Breachers or sits on the wall because it's thematic. Now I know the Herald causes fear, if I have that right. You wouldn't really benefit from the fear, but it's super thematic to have them like on top of a wall. Let me see if I have the Herald. That's Terrace, Master Signals, Caribbean, Mortant, Herald. He does cause fear. It wouldn't actually benefit you at all. It's just a dude sitting on a wall with a banner. But it's funny and cool. Whirlwinds, Vindicators, or Whirlwinds and Medusas provide anti-armor support, or Vindicators, Medusas, however you want to do it. And your Arachne shoots down Flyers and Terminators as they show up. I think it's pretty sweet. And then you have the Phalanx Bastion, and this is with your Castellan. It's almost all the same, except your Castellan joins the autocannons, and you don't have a Herald. Now, I took this picture, and this is a 40k Devastator Marine from like the older editions of 40k, and somebody cut off the heavy bolter front and put a rotary cannon, the front of a rotary cannon on there. I think this is a great way to kit bash a Castellan because you have this really cool hand carrier that has the backpack in the back to show that he is important, but he's not just a rotary guy. So I think this is a really cool kit bash, and I would like to see what it would look like with like a new model. But I think it's a pretty good way to do a Castellan. That's something I would do. All right, on to the next one, the Headman's Gauntlet, and I believe this is our buddy Valrak's some artwork for Valrak, because I think that's what the thing said when I downloaded it, because Valrak is a big Imperial Fist fan. He loves the Sons of Dorn. So yeah, I took this picture because I don't know, it was a cool artwork. So on to the Crusade detachment. Fafnir Ran is going to be your high command. Your Centurion is going to have Paragon of Battle, and then you're going to have another Centurion in Terminator armor. Your tactical, you're going to have tactical troops and 2 Inducti troops. I don't remember what the Inducti do, but I'm sure that I talked about it in the next slide. 3 Rhinos, and then you're going to do your armor support detachment, an armored fist detachment, a shock assault, and an army vanguard. So this is a pretty standard going forward. 4 detachments. And that's really it. I don't think do I have a logistical benefit in this one? Don't think I do. So yeah, you have plenty of slots. You're gonna do 3 Predator tanks, which in this case you could have actually probably cut some points somewhere and do the Decurion Sagittarius or whatever it was called to add some pintle mounted weaponry. You're gonna do an armored fist with a Land Raider carrier and 2 Land Raider Achilles. Now I like the idea of an Achilles. I'm curious on how they work because I don't have one. But when I do get one, I'm going to run it and I want to see how it works. We're going to do a Shock Assault squad with Indominus Terminators. You can use the new 40k ones or the older 40k ones. But yeah, do some Indominus Terminators. The new ones are pretty sweet. Tartaros Siege Terminators. Now, there's the reason why you choose the Tartaros Siege Terminators is because you can give Tartaros Terminators autocannons for 15, Reaper autocannons for 15 points apiece. So you can do a squad of 5 or 10 of these, And yeah, they're a little expensive, but they can all just move up the board and do autocannon shots with that breaching 6, which is pretty sweet. And then you get heavy firepower if you stand still. Then you do an Army Vanguard detachment with your Templar Brethren and your Veteran Breacher Squad. Again, this is really leading into the Breachers and like the fighty-esque. It's both shooty and fighty at the same time. So Fafnir, which we have on the right, and your Veteran Breachers go in a Land Raider Achilles because it's a 5-man squad of Breachers and Fafnir because you can only have 6 in a Land Raider Achilles. They go Slay the Warlord hunting and Vanguard hunting because your Veteran Breachers have Vanguard. Your Centurion and your Templar Brethren go character hunting in a Land Raider Achilles. Again, 5-man squad with your Centurion, so in the Land Raider Achilles. Your Centurion in Terminator armor and your Indominus Terminators go Vanguard hunting in a Land Raider carrier. So you're having 3 Land Raiders move forward on the board, and they all have people who are just going to murder other people. It's fun. I think it's fun. Yeah, just have fun with it. Your Predators provide anti-armor and anti-Terminator support. Your Tartaros Siege Terminators provide Vanguard and anti-Terminator support. Now that's really important because your Tartaros Siege Terminators have Vanguard, and if with their autocannons they can get Vanguard off shooting a unit from an objective if it's already weakened and not charged. And that's probably the best way to utilize them, is they can also provide Vanguard from a distance. It's one of the only few units in the game that can do that. And then your Inducti and Tacticals cover down on objectives and provide Inducti pinning checks. Oh, that's what it was. If your Inducti stand still, they get pinning 0. So they're just causing the check, even if even if they're not killing anybody, they're at least pinning down units, which is really helpful. And on to the last list, the Black Templars, which is heavily on your Templar Brethren. We have Sigismund the First Templar as your high command. Your second command is Camba Diaz and a Legion Champion, 2 tactical squads, and 3 Rhinos. Your armored support detachment is going to have a Predator and Sakaran, 2 Sakarans. And again, you can do the Decorum Sagittar for your Predator and your Sakarans, depending on which loadout you go with. We have 2 Land Raider carriers for your Armored Fist detachment, a Shock Assault detachment of your Phalanx Warders, and the Army Vanguard of 2 5-man squads of Templar Brethren, maybe 10-man. I'd have to look at the list again. Sigismund and Camba Diaz both go with your Templar Brethren and go Slay the Warlord hunting in Land Raider carriers, so it might be just 2 groups going forward. Your Champion goes with your Phalanx Warders in a Rhino, so it's not a Champion in Terminator armor. Your Predator and Sakarans provide anti-armor support, and those can always be swapped out for any other vehicles that you have, any other tanks. Could be actually swapped out for a whole Kratos. That would actually be pretty sweet. And then your tacticals sit on objectives, and they can be swapped out for despoilers for more fighting if you want to be more fighting focused. But I wouldn't swap them out for breachers, because breachers only have the line 1 and you want the line 2. In the event that you want to try to win, line 2. And they sit in a Rhino so that they're protected. It's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go murder you, and I'm gonna go fight you. So this is like the best fighty way that you can do that, and I think it's pretty solid. So on to the last bit is the units you want to pick up. So all the named characters are pretty cool. Any unnamed characters for your Herald, your Champion, your Master of Signals. You're going to want 40 to 50 Marines like everybody else. You're going to want some Inducti or some tactical squads. Or add those 2 squads of Despoilers if that's the route you want to go. In that case, you'd probably want 50 to 60 Marines if you want to add some Despoilers. Your Templar Brethren and your Phalanx Warders are pretty staple in this Legion. Highly recommend getting a couple sets of them. Your Land Raider carrier or Land Raider Achilles are also pretty important on the list that I've built. They're also important in any Legion. Fortifications, just get the fortifications. Find some prints of them, get them printed. They're pretty cool. And there's a whole lot of different ones out there. It's fun, it's cool, it's thematic. I would highly recommend that. That should actually be number 1. You should just start with the fortifications before you start with the army. Predators, Sakarans, Scorpii, Whirlwinds, Vindicators, all the fun tanks. Kratos. Your Arachne autocannon platform is also really good. Highly recommend you get that because of the hitting on 2s. And then your Thunderhawk and Dorn. Do the Eos Dios or whatever, however you say it. Get a Thunderhawk and get Dorn and put them in it if you can do it in like an Apocalypse game, or at least you give your opponent a heads up because it's cool. And it's a model. It's a model that exists with a name plane that exists, you might as well do it. Something I didn't add in this list are dreadnoughts, your Leviathan, your Contemptor, or your Duradio. They're also very important with the siege autocannon thing that the Leviathan has. Your regular Contemptor can do the heavy bolter or the autocannons, and then your Duradio, I think, has an autocannon option as well. So you can really get some benefit of using those. I wish I would have added some of them, but they just didn't really fall into any of these lists that I built. And then a Mastodon, I think, just to add hurt to injury is just having a Mastodon move up with all of your stuff and like stuff running out of it, especially when it comes to moving forward, because Mastodons are just so hard to kill. It really falls into that I'm going to be impossible to kill kind of phalanx aesthetic that the Imperial Fist have. So I would recommend a Mastodon towards the end of your list if that's something you're into. So yeah, that's the Imperial Fist list. I hope you guys learned some stuff here, or want to try some of these lists. The lists will be linked in a Google Drive below. They're all built on New Recruit. I have a video on how to use New Recruit as a Heresy player, at least on the web, a web-based version of it. It's pretty much the same thing on your phone. But yeah, there's a video if you need to go look at it to understand how to play, or if you're picking up this game for the first time. Try these lists out if they sound fun. If you have a bunch of Imperial Fists, let me know how they work, because I would love to see somebody use these lists somewhere and let me know like if it was fun, if it was working. So put it in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Tell me if I got any rules wrong, or if you think I did anything wrong, or how you would change it. I really like to hear your feedback. With that, I hope you guys have a great one, and until the next video, go make a mess.